Hello, everyone. Welcome if you are new to the channel, and welcome back if you love me. We're live for some cards in divine time. I am going to pull some pineapple charming charms, and I am going to roll my astrodice. I gave pineapple charming a good shake off camera for those of you who are new to pineapple charming. Pineapple charming has thousands of charms inside of him. And sometimes messages come out in the charms themselves, but for the most part, if one or more of the charms resonates with you, there's a reason why you caught the message. Okay, whether it's the message in its entirety or there's just one thing I say and it clicks and you're like, that's why Spirit guided me to the reading. Okay, so we're going to pull some charming charms. And while I do that, guys, tomorrow is the deadline for the full moon in Aquarius intention candles, if you guys want to get intention candles for that moon. And then the 9th is the day of the moon event itself. So tomorrow is pretty much the last day to get your secret code name reading as well, although I do allow people to get them all the way up until 6 a.m. the day of. All right, so if you wanted a reading for it and you haven't gotten it yet, the theme is when push turns to shove. And it's a powerful moon. Like right now in real time as I'm doing this message, the moon is hitting Pluto. So whoever needs it. Hey, Christina, how you doing? So yeah, don't forget, if you guys want to get your secret code name, you go through my Etsy shop. All of it's through my Etsy. Intention candle deadline is tomorrow. And then secret code name deadline is 8/9, day of at 6 a.m. Central Daylight Time. So don't wait. All right, charms. And I will have a timestamp for after the charms and the astrodice when we actually get into the cards. So if you're catching the replay and you just want to skip the charms, you can. Although, like I said, there's almost always a reason the charms are what they are. So first charm, we got some rum, Caribbean rum to be specific, light rum, not dark rum. So it might be significant for you or maybe someone who the reading pertains to. We've also got a sausage, so it might be natural to where you live, like Polish sausages or Italian sausages, something like that. You might have just had them recently. I've also got red lipstick. I've got sign language. I love you. Okay. Hey, Rita, how you doing? Final interview for new job next week. Nice, Christina, nice. I've also got tennis. And 333. So you could be seeing 333 synchronicities. I've got our crab. So you could have eaten them lately. A Joe's Crab Shack could have stood out to you. You could have strong Cancer in your chart. I also have Mary Jane. So you might puff the magic dragon. Or like I said, it pertains to someone who does. We also have a perfume bottle. All right. I don't know if the bright ass light. Yeah, perfume bottle. So, and it's got a heart on it. So it might be that perfume that someone you cared about remembers. It could also just be like a nod to certain smells that trigger memories. Okay. And or you might tend to put on perfume when you're in a more romantic mood or interested in somebody romantically. We also have our chained silver pink heart. So feminine energy with the silver, and pink is not romantic. So this could be a reading pertaining to a sacred soulmate that's not necessarily romantic. It's platonic, all right, or familial. And feminine, I mean, yeah, you could be a female, you or them, but it is feminine energy. So it is someone on the receiving end, or maybe someone who has a hard time receiving positive energy from people, right? Someone who has a hard time accepting love. Maybe they're not used to being loved, right? And they might drink, right? Because we have that rum bottle out here. We've also got the globe charm. So you could be somewhere else in the world other than where I am, or be traveling at the moment. We've also got binoculars. which always remind me of like bird watching. But if you own a set of binoculars or they're synchronistic for you. I also have Saturn. I've got a Saturn charm. So you might have Saturn in Cancer, right? Because we have that charm out with the crab. I've also got the treasure chest. And this is a love treasure. Okay? A love treasure. Hey, Risa, how you doing? I've got a needle. So like a threading needle. I've also, you might be stitching up or repairing some kind of clothing, or maybe you're doing metaphorical stitching. I've also got a sailboat and my red rose charm, which always reminds me of Beauty and the Beast. So might be a situation like that. Oh, congratulations on being a pineapple patron for 3 months, Risa. That's so cool. That's so cool. Your diamond upgraded. We also have the crown chakra charm. So communicating with spirit, getting downloads from spirit, and being humble, right? The crown chakra deals with the polarity of faith versus control and ego, right? Being humble and finding gratitude and compassion versus manipulation and fear and thinking we know better, right? Thinking we know better. Also have a white butterfly charm, okay? You might be seeing them little white butterflies around. Now, as far as beads, I've got Cancer. So we got Cancer out twice now. I've got Capricorn. You could have that polarity in your chart, right? You might have nodes in Cancer, Capricorn, or just deal with oppositions between those two signs. I also have Virgo and Aquarius. And then I've got quite a few letters out here. So let's see. The letters could be initials. They could be abbreviations that are relevant. They could spell words. I've got R, A, S. I've got 3 S's. I've got 3 S's. I've got X. I've got N, J, M, T, and Z. So I've got Arizona, I've got Montana, I've got New Jersey, I've got Arkansas, I've got Tennessee, I've got New Zealand, I've also got TMZ, so you might be watching that or reading that. I've got sax, like saxophone. I've got RN, like a registered nurse. Saturday is also in the beads. So Saturday with the full moon might be serious. This reading might just give us insight into the energy that's going on with the new moon in a more collective general sense, right? What else do I got here? Jam or jams. So you could be jamming out. You could literally be eating jam, like strawberry jam or something. I've also got the word smart. So you yourself may be a smart person or dealing with someone who is smarter than they seem or smarter than they come off. I think the worst kind of smart is the people that are so smart that they play dumb. because they know they can get over on people by playing dumb, making people think that they're not as smart as they really are. And I've also got Mart or Marts. So you may have been at a flea market recently, food market, something like that. I also have the name Jax, like Jackson. I've got rats. So maybe you have a pet rat or know someone who does. This message might pertain to them. And I've got the word star. Maybe you were born on a significant star placement. You know, like Regulus, Sirius, Vega, like there might be certain Spica, like there might be certain fixed stars or widely known stars that you might have a significant placement on. I know with this new moon, it's Jupiter and Venus conjunct on Sirius in Cancer. And it's a big deal. Anubis has been coming up crazy, and Sirius is in the constellation Canis Major, which is the dog. And obviously Anubis is the dog-headed god. So there's a lot of different things coming up with Anubis that might be significant for you as well, especially if you're drawn to Anubis in general or Egyptian mythology. Okay. Let's get into the cards. If something else pops out at me with the beads, I'll let y'all know. I've also got Max, M-A-X. So could be short for Maximilian or Maxwell, but it could also be like feeling like you're or hitting some kind of critical mass, because I have mass too. Maybe go to church, you go to mass, maybe you haven't been to church in a while. Maybe you just started back up. Let's get our astrodice. Again, we've got Cancer out twice, Capricorn, Virgo, and Aquarius already. We have Taurus, Venus, which is also Taurus. It could also be Libra. And we have 8th house, which is Scorpio. So you might also have significant placements in Taurus and Scorpio. You might have your nodes inside those signs. You might be a Taurus 8th house or a Libra 8th house. If your Taurus is in the 8th house, then that would make you a Libra rising. And if you have Libra in the 8th house, that would make you a Pisces rising. Eighth house that's a deep house, man. Taurus naturally rules the second. So you could have Scorpio or Taurus in the second, Libra in the second. And Libra rules naturally the 7th house. So you could have Taurus, Libra, or Scorpio ruling your 7th house as well. Okay. You also may have inherited certain lessons or karma surrounding love and money and having to figure out what truly does and doesn't belong to you. And or you're dealing with somebody who is. It could also indicate having different issues with the throat, like genetic things that you may have inherited surrounding your throat, like thyroid or different things with your vocal or your esophagus even. Taurus also rules the tongue, and then Libra rules the buttocks. So, you might be dealing with certain things that are genetically related to that as well. Okay. We're going to start with the harrow. Hey, Lala. Hey, Kelly. How y'all doing? We're going to start with the harrow. And guys, take it as it resonates. I use he and she just based off the genders on the cards, but, feminine, masculine, it's not gender specific. So take it as it makes sense for you. Do not get hung up on genders. Okay. I never have any idea what the heck spirit is going to do with these reads. So take it in the mirror for what it is. What is going on, spirit, that you would call me in divine time? Especially because we are going to have secret code name readings in like a day and a half. Someone needs this message. What is going on? We've got the vision and the cyclone. Bottom of the deck is the sickness. Okay. One person is the vision, one person is the cyclone. So someone's definitely having a revelation. Let me pull my hand-drawn cards to get a little extra energy on these, and then I'm going to read for you what these cards mean. Given the harrow is from the world of Pathfinder, they're Dungeons and Dragons cards. All of the lingo in the book is Dungeons and Dragons related, but I translate it into like real life situations for you. So clarify the vision, please. What other energy is going on with that vision energy? Really, lightning striking the brain. The dream. 12th house energy, Piscean energy. Could also be 11th house energy. We did have aqua on the dice. Or not aqua on the dice, aqua on the charms. Clarify the cyclone for me. Clarify the cyclone for me. The comet. So this person is high speed for real. And we've got an unknown situation coming into the reality with the birthing card and the question mark. Hey, Kiki Law, how you doing? All right. So the sickness being the overall with the birth being on the bottom, like that's the bottom of the decks, guys. Something is not great. The sickness is a neutral evil card. It represents plague, pestilence, famine, and disease. Can also indicate corruption of the soul or a multitude of souls. So it's illness, right? It's dis-ease within the self. And that dis-ease is manifesting, right? You can only hold an energetic vibration for so long before the manifestation catches up with it. And here's the thing, like whenever we're dealing with energy and vibration and things like that, and the frequency in which we resonate, we can choose to change that pretty darn quickly. When we don't choose to change it, because the 3D manifestation is so much denser in its vibration, it takes longer for the manifestation to catch up to the energy, right? So you have time to change your energy before shit hits the fan. You also equally have time to change your energy before blessings come in, like it's law of attraction stuff. Things don't manifest instantly for a reason. If you've ever watched The Secret, you know that they that gave that analogy, you know, well, I want an elephant, and then all of a sudden an elephant is in your living room. Like, it would really, manifestation doesn't work like that for a reason, you know what I mean? It would be chaotic. But when we are in low vibratory energy for too long, and we don't choose to heal it, if we don't choose to transmute it, the reality catches up to us and manifests that vibration. So there's something manifesting, and it's not going to feel lucky, because even this sickness card, she's got snake eyes, like 2 dice sitting in her hand. She's rolled snake eyes. The twin is under that. The twin is under that. You might not realize, because you are not looking to stab somebody else in the back or seeking to hurt them or ruin their manifestation or their life or whatever. You might not realize that they are willing to do that to you, though. Like, it wouldn't cross your mind because you're not that kind of a person, but they might be that kind of a person. And you might be that person they're looking at, like, go ahead and cross me and see what happens. You know, like, there's some interesting energy on the bottom of that deck. So person number one, we have the vision and the dream, right? And we do have all this blue energy on the card. So third eye chakra, throat chakra. We did have crown chakra as well in the charms. So these two energies, the vision is chaotic neutral. It represents arcane knowledge. Such knowledge can take the form of madness or cryptic words. The card often means an encounter with a crazy person, but it can also signify a brush with genius. So whoever this person is, they're dealing with the cyclone. That person might be fucking crazy. Crazier than you realize, right? They may have come off a little like unhinged, but maybe not crazy for as long as you've known them. And now all of a sudden that you might be seeing their brand of crazy. Their special brand of crazy. And they might just be smarter than you think. They might be metaphorically playing tennis with you, right? That volley back and forth of the ball. And you think you're playing just a friendly game of tennis, and all of a sudden they become really hyper competitive, or they're out to try and hurt you. And you might be blindsided, like you don't even know what's going on. If this person does have addictions, whether it's drinking or smoking or whatever, their addictions might be fueling their behavioral choices. It could be like someone who was, like, an example. It doesn't have to be this, but an example would be like, maybe you were always drinking buddies or smoking buddies with a certain person. And then all of a sudden, you know, maybe you're not drinking as much, or maybe you're not smoking as much, if at all, anymore. And they take it like a personal offense. And maybe, you know, you were always smoking them out or drinking them so that they didn't have to pay and stuff like that. And now they're pissed because you were the enabler this whole time, and the free drink or the free smoke. And, you know, now you're not doing that anymore, and they might have taken it personal. Like, maybe you're still doing it and just not with them, and they're getting paranoid, you know, and their crazy's coming out, but there's going to be some kind of revelation that comes with it. The vision card, like, for example, I'll give you a great example. My ex was kind of nuts. Okay. And I say that lovingly, but he was narcissistic is just an understatement. And at the end of our dynamic, I knew he was treating me like shit, and I knew I didn't deserve it. And I said that, you know, I said, I don't deserve this. And he said, yes, you do. And I said, no, I don't. I knew I didn't. And he said, yes, you do. You choose it every day. You want to talk about a lightning flash moment. It did feel like lightning just struck my brain. because I realized in that moment he was right. Like, he was crazy, and he was psychologically, emotionally, mentally, financially abusive. And yet it was like I got touched by a stroke of genius, because as soon as he said that, I was like, you know what, you're right. I said, I'm not choosing it. Not one more day, not one more minute. I said, I'm done. Like, right then and there, the switch just flipped, you know what I mean? And it's no different than dealing with a cyclone who comes in cycles, you know, like this flash of an energy. Hey, Meg. Hey, Christina. How you guys doing? Yeah, this cyclone comet energy, they come in like a flash. They're ominous, right? Their presence is ominous. Like, if you look back at comets across the sky and stuff like that, they were omens. We've got this cyclone. So, you know, the cyclone, it's chaotic evil, okay? It's chaotic evil. The cyclone is a force that tears through whatever it meets. This disaster does not come in the course of natural order, but is one that comes from the plots of intelligent beings. The cyclone signifies war, arson, or other plans that destroy everything they touch. So whoever this reading is about and or for, even if it's not for you, you're meant to get this insight in some way, right? If you're not actually dealing with a potentially crazy person, or maybe wildly unhealed is a better way to put it. Dealing with a wildly unhealed person is causing someone else to literally have revelation. Because at the end of the day, if you are not happy, or if you are stressed out, or you are being abused, at the end of the day, your actions are not reflecting freedom, liberation, and peace. Your actions continuously choose the same abusive situation, whether it is physically abusive or financially abusive or mentally or emotionally or psychologically abusive, right? There's all different kinds of abuse on the spectrum. And what you choose to tolerate or not tolerate is something you are literally choosing, right? It's something you are choosing to tolerate every day. And so you have to really get in touch with yourself and kind of reflect, like, why am I choosing this? Why is this acceptable when a part of me knows it is genuinely not acceptable, which is why I'm not happy? It's why I'm stressed out. You know, where do you have to create healthy boundaries or sever and cut certain ties completely because they are tearing you apart? At the very least, they could be tearing through your relationships, tearing through your dynamics with family or friends, right? I mean, we did have this toxic feminine energy, right? The chained pink heart. This person, even if you romantically care about them, they could look at you more platonic, like their romantic feelings might not be involved. They're damaged, right? They got their heart locked up, and they just look at people like a friend when it might not be. Toxic feminine energy, that's the receiver. So someone is receiving love, but they're not willing to give it back. They're taking in consideration from others, right? Sucking it up like a cyclone sucks up everything around it. They're sucking up all the good stuff around them, but they're just destroying everything. They're not giving back or helping create the dream, right? They are not a participant. They're a black hole. It's a black hole person. Your light goes in, but it doesn't come out. You know, you're dealing with a black hole. And maybe someone does have to have the revelation, like maybe this person is smarter than they think. Maybe they are taking my kindness for weakness. Maybe I opened up my light. I opened up my light to the wrong fucking person. I opened my light up to the wrong person. You know, and whether this reading is significant for you now, looking back in hindsight, or you're going through it, or you're soon to have this realization, like this is a life lesson that a lot of people deal with, you know, especially if you grew up in a chaotic environment or had a chaotic childhood, no matter what level of chaos it was. You know, we attract chaos because that's what's familiar. I was having this conversation with a friend of mine the other day, and the profound realization that our brain is primarily like hardwired to survive. So if you grew up in chaos and survived it, your brain is hardwired to survival. And so even if it was hard, even if it was painful, even if it was chaotic, even if it was crazy, even if it was filled with some level of abuse on the spectrum, you survived it. So your brain is hardwired to be attracted to people that are chaotic because you know you're going to survive it. That's what the brain believes. So you have a healthy person in front of you, right? Or a healthy relationship dynamic in front of you, or someone who is a giver like you in front of you. It creates a peaceful dynamic. You've never experienced peace. Peace is not familiar to you. And your brain's like, I don't know if I'll survive it. I've never done it before. It'll choose a guaranteed I'm going to survive, even if it's brutal, versus I don't know if I could survive this because I've never encountered it before. Question mark. Question mark. Yeah, the closed door is under that. Like, people are going to have to dive deep and really find their balance. Again, Saturn on the card, right? Just like Saturn was in the charms. Like, you got to figure out what the heck your karma is and choose balance and walk through the door into something different. You've got to be able to birth something different, because right now, what's familiar is the sickness. It's the intense duality of the mirror where we're flip-flopping on the extremes. You know, if healthy relationships are that lovely place of peace in the middle, the extreme ends are empath and narcissist, where we flip back and forth from empath to narcissist, depending on what the dynamic is. Maybe you're a narcissist in one dynamic because you don't know how to receive love, but you need it. And then in the next relationship, you're pouring out empathy to a toxic as fuck person because you're in that extreme, right? You're going back and forth in the extremes and creating that chaos because peace feels like boredom. And it's like, it's not boredom. It's supposed to be healthy like that. You're supposed to be at peace. You're not supposed to be living in a state of stress. You know what I mean? And you've got to get used to that. You've got to get used to feeling a little bored, because it's really not. There are so many things you can do to fill your own time without choosing toxic or choosing alcohol or choosing substances in general. Like, there's others to do. And people who grew up with chaos, like, this is how they learn to cope with the chaos. This is how they learn to pass the time. This is how they learn to deal. And that in and of itself creates more problems. This is about really taking the steps to see things from a different point of view so that you can gain better control over yourself and love what you're choosing. Let's get into the tarot. Let's see what this looks like, please, Spirit. Yeah, broken clock is right twice a day. Yeah. And it's no different with people. Like, even the worst of the chaotic people have their good moments. Even the most chaotic people, the most intensely damaging cyclone, black hole people have their good moments. The reality is, you can't live your whole life on those rare comet-like moments. You're supposed to be able to receive that all the time. If 99 or 98 or even 80% of the time it's a battle, you got to ask yourself why you insist on fighting. because you refuse to lose. Like, we're dealing with the crown chakra, right? Refusing to lose, refusing to be wrong. That's egoic control. That's a blocked crown chakra. The crown chakra, you've got to be able to be humble. You've got to be able to be humble, and you've got to be able to hold compassion for yourself and let spirit direct you and guide you, because your vision versus spirit's vision are two different things. Until you open up that mind's eye and really start to see what the heck is in front of you for what it is, right? Taking people for face value. Potential, the biggest thing about potential is it's not real. We see people's potential all the time, but it's literally potential because it's not real. It's not who they are. Take it from a Sag, because Sag loves seeing potential, loves it. They thrive on that shit, the potential of people. But you have to take people for face value as well. You have to see exactly who they are in your mirror and what you're doing. Because if you're with a toxic individual, you are toxic to yourself, and there's toxicity within yourself that needs to heal, and you're not healing it because you're focusing on someone else's healing instead of your own. You're toxic to yourself. So not only are you dealing with a toxic person who is toxic to you, you choosing it is making you toxic to yourself. You've got to heal your own poison so that you stop taking it from other people. How are you being a detriment to yourself? Thinking that toxic is normal, or you could fix toxic. You can't fix the toxic in anybody else. You're literally responsible for yourself. What is going on, please, Spirit? We got the Six of Cups. It's Venus and Scorpionic energy, past life love energy, Queen of Wands, the Magician, Gemini or Virgo energy. Could also be dealing with Leo energy with that Queen of Wands. Got the High Priestess out, Piscean energy, and Judgment. Scorpionic energy, Plutonian energy, right? And that 8th house came out on the dice. Really, Venus and Scorpio was out on the dice, and that came out in the cards. The Six of Cups is Venus and Scorpio. All right, clarities, please. Justice, Libra energy, Chariot, Cancerian energy. Libra also came out on the dice, and on the dice, and then Cancer came out in the charms. We got the Page of Pentacles. Someone's an opportunist. Whoever this cyclone comet person is, they are a pure opportunist. That Page of Pentacles is on the Magician. The Lover's card, Gemini, is now out here twice. Lots of major arcana. And the Seven of Swords on the Judgment card. Damn it. We got the Wheel of Fortune on the bottom of the deck, Jupiter and Cancer energy. And we've got the Empress, Venusian energy. You could have Venus in any one of those signs. Definite nod to Taurus and Libra again. I got Venus, Jupiter, and Mercury as far as planets. I've got Libra, Cancer, Gemini twice, Virgo, Pisces, and Scorpio. God damn. Okay. First and foremost, the relationship that you're in, whatever this relationship is, or whoever it is relevant to, it is fair. It is balanced. So someone is as toxic as someone else was. especially if there's multiple past life relationships and someone has been, you know, volleying back and forth on that chaotic spectrum between narcissist and empath in different relationships. The relationship they're in right now, whatever the dynamic is, it is past life and it is fair. It is fair. So if you're feeling like life ain't fair or love ain't fair, yes, it is fair. You are choosing your own brand as toxic and it is manifesting as this particular person. You know, it's not unfair. You are toxic to yourself and therefore they are toxic to you. It is fair. If you were toxic to other people, it doesn't matter how not toxic you are to someone else. You're manifesting understanding. You're manifesting what it is like to be in someone else's shoes. I was a prime example of it. Like, we've all been in relationships where we didn't even realize that we were the toxic one or we were the narcissistic one until we were in a relationship pouring our fucking guts out, pouring our hearts out, pouring all of our energy into it, to a narcissist, to a black hole person. And it's because spirit needed you to understand what it was like to be in that person's shoes that you just hurt. Whatever the dynamic is, it's just, it's fair. You can't stand there and say it's not fair. Well, I wish I could just help this person. Someone is set on their desires and moving forward in their desires. So whoever the toxic individual is, their goal is not changing. If they are benefiting and their goal is not changing. And if someone is dead set on healing said toxic person, their desire is not wavering. They're moving forward with that desire to try and heal this person. But this Chariot card is standing still. The divine intervention or the divine lesson coming along with it to help you forward is stagnation. It is stagnation. Someone is an opportunist, and that is in the mirror. The Page of Pentacles with the Magician, that's a manipulative person who is literally taking advantage of the fact, seizing any opportunity they can to get whatever it is that they want. This could be people doubling down and tripling down being an empath as well. You know, they're trying to manipulate somebody. They're trying to change somebody. They're trying to heal somebody who does not want to change or is unwilling to change or is not lined up in this life for them to heal. It is literally a detour, roadblock, distraction. They're an NPC. They're not important in your life. They're not meant to be a full-time character. And someone is seizing every opportunity they possibly can to reach their goal. Whether it is taking advantage of someone else to have their monetary needs met, or if it is manipulating somebody else because they feel like they're smart enough to heal somebody. They don't want to. This is the thing. The Lover's card with the High Priestess, 2 major arcana. The mirror is the mirror. The mirror is the mirror. The Lover's card was originally the choice. With the High Priestess, it's 12th house. It's self-sabotage, self-undoing, fear, detriments, the angels of our lives that are really demons, and the demons of our lives that are truly our angels. The people that we vilify being the ones that genuinely loved us, and the people that we genuinely love being the villain and having it mistaken, right? The High Priestess is all about illusion. It's all about the shadow. It's all about the secrets, the unknowns. The intuition knows, but the mind does not, right? Gemini is mercurial. It's out here in the cards. Gemini is the mind. The mind doesn't realize what the intuition knows. The mind essentially plays tricks on us and likes to believe that it can do things outside of its capability. The Judgment card with the 7 of Swords. Final cards, right? The Judgment card with the 7 of Swords. It doesn't matter how many times you resurrect it or how many times you give it another chance, it's going to rob you every time. It doesn't matter how many times you try and breathe life back into it or bring it back to life. It's going to rob you every time. It's going to lie to you every time. It's going to steal your energy every time. It's going to take from you every time. It's going to deceive you. It's going to deceive you every time. Until you create a healthy boundary. Until you create a healthy boundary. Like, you might not be able to hear Spirit say, I love you, but Spirit loves you. We have the I love you ASL charm out here. You might not be able to hear Spirit loving you because you're in the middle of your struggle, but Spirit loves you. It wants you to wake up to the fact that you're choosing this fucking struggle no matter who it's with. Or that you chose it prior, right? If this reading is coming to you for hindsight healing, so that you can move past something and move forward in your life, especially if someone deceived you in the past and you're having a hard time opening up or moving forward in a new relationship because you still have their energy inside your psyche, inside your personal energy space. And you might be in a situation where you're trying to navigate life and sabotaging out high connections because your intuition's off. Your mind's playing tricks on you. Like, there's definitely someone here who desires someone else. Desires to love someone else, especially with that Queen of Wands and Chariot energy, Cancerian energy. Someone desires to love and nurture. And maybe someone does really want to be the balance. You know, past life soulmate, past lifetimes, I'll love you in this life and the next, balance to the healing. The fact of the matter is, someone hasn't healed yet. They're seeking an opportunity. I was going off about this on my Facebook page the other day because, you know, people are always talking on reels and shorts. And if you're in the same algorithm that I am, then you get this shit all the time about men who seek out women and ask them, well, what do you bring to the table? How much money do you make? Like, am I going to be the one paying for everything and that kind of shit? And it's like, honestly, I bring so much more to the table. I bring so much more to the table. If a guy literally will only accept me at his table if I make money like he does, and he doesn't care about the other stuff that I bring to the table, I'm sorry, you are not my person. Like, that's a manipulation. That's an opportunist right there. I want someone to cut my rent in half. I want someone to help me pay my bills. I want someone to help me financially so that I can save up money, but they don't really mean anything to me. You know what I mean? Like, money's cold. Money is cold. Money doesn't hold you and love you. Truly. So anybody who's only interested in what you bring to the table financially and they don't care about the rest, that's not a healed person. They're not ready to love or be loving. They're not ready to love or be loved. You're dealing with somebody who is literally just taking advantage of an opportunity, and it's probably a financial opportunity, and or that's what they're trying to do. Or that's where their head's at, right? That's where their head is at, mercurial energy. Well, if they made more money, I might be interested. But they don't care about the love. Their emotions are shut down. It doesn't even matter how much this person comes off healed. Like, oh yeah, you know, I've healed a lot, I've gone through a lot, I've been to therapy and blah 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 and whatever. But at the end of the day, if they don't care that you're bringing love to the table, because they're not really interested, and they can't bring love to the table. They can't bring it. I'm sorry. If you're not putting love on the table, I'm not eating at your table. I'm not eating at your table. You can bring all the money in the world to the table, but if love is not on that table, I'm not sitting down at your table, and I'm not going to eat. No, thank you. No, thank you. I want love on the table because I put love on the table. I put love on the table. You know what I mean? I think that's what whoever needed this reading really needs to understand. You can't bring someone who brings love to the table and expect them to sit down and be satisfied when you're not serving love. And that's what they're walking in the door with. They're walking in the door with love in tow to bring to your table so that you can sit and enjoy the love that they brought, but you're not going to serve any up for them. And you're not even going to say thank you for the love because they didn't bring a money dish. Like, that'll be the last time I bring love to your table. I don't need to sit down twice. I don't need to sit down twice. You're toxic as fuck. Anybody who can't bring love to the table, genuine love to the table, and open up and be vulnerable and hold compassion and interest and consideration and be truthful and honest, like, you're not ready for a relationship. You shouldn't be dating anybody. You should not be dating anybody. Don't get upset when people don't want to date you because your vibe, right? Your vibe is resonating out there. And people who bring love to the table can sense and feel that you are not bringing love to the table. I talked to a friend of mine a few days ago and I could just feel it. I could just feel it. The conversation we were having, Spirit pinged me multiple times. Not ready to let love in their life. And people could sit there and say, oh, well, maybe when the right person comes along, the right person is going to come along and you're going to miss it. You're going to miss it. The right person is going to show up literally out of the blue one day and you're not going to be ready and you are going to scare them the fuck off before you even have a chance to consider them because they're going to intuitively pick up on your energy and be like, yeah, no thanks, that person is not ready. And they will be gone before you even have a chance to consider them. Yeah, love is the most valuable currency we have. Exactly, Kenna. Exactly. Yeah. Wealth comes in many forms, not just money. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, fuck all that. Fuck all that. Someone needed this realization because I don't even think someone realizes how toxic they could potentially be. Because if you're not bringing love to the table, you're not bringing interest. You're not bringing interest. And if you're not interested in somebody, you don't love them. I want to know everything about a person. If I'm interested and if I'm interested and I'm asking you questions and I'm curious about you, is because I genuinely feel a part of me is capable of loving you. Now, all I need to know is, are you bringing love to the table? Because I know I can. I know I can. I know I am willing and I know I am able. So if you're not showing interest, thank you. Thank you for letting me know that you are not bringing love to the table and that you would be a toxic person that I would invest all of my time and energy and my own potential into for nothing. Thank you for making it super clear. This Mercury retrograde reconnected me with a person that I had disconnected from a couple months ago. And ever since we reconnected, like, he's every single day, he's like, hey, how's your day going? What are you up to today? Every day, every morning, he wakes up and he shoots me a text. Hey, good morning. He thinks of me when he wakes up. Other people, like if I got to message you first all the fucking time, you're not thinking about me, you're not interested in me. That's fine. But I'm not going to chase you. I respond every morning. I respond every morning. Like, thank you for letting me know that you think of me every day. Thank you. I brought him some shepherd's pie today. I made shepherd's pie. I brought him some. Truly grateful. Like, thank you for bringing consideration and thought and interest to the table, even though him and I are wildly different. Wildly different. Complete fucking opposites. But yet, you know, it works. It works better than someone else I have a whole lot in common with. Very, very similar to. Because they're either in or they're out. People either choose you or they don't. And if they're not healed, they're not choosing you. If they're not healed, they're not choosing themselves. How could they possibly choose you? No shade to anybody who's ever reached out to me and or stopped reaching out to me for whatever reason. Like, no tea, no shade. I know I'm fucking awesome and I'm very interesting. I'm a damn good cook and I bring empathy to the table. You know what I mean? I bring that love to the table. It's knowing where you're at and choosing accordingly, guys. It's knowing where you're at and choosing accordingly. Don't push out good love because you're so fucking used to toxic. Yeah, it really is a shame because I have genuine interest in the person that I have a lot in common with, a lot similar to. I have a genuine interest in that person. But the vibe is the vibe, and I feel it. It's not going to take off. I'll end up back in chaos. So I'm mentally, I've already started checking out. I'll put my focus where the energy is coming, you know? Shit. Get used to something different. Open up to what I really want. Open up to what I really want and who is putting it on the table. What do you really want? Let's get a divine conversation card. Spirit, please, what divine conversation do you want to have for the viewer who is catching this in divine time? Yep, time and silence or communication speaks volumes on how someone feels. Yeah. Yeah, kind of. Yeah. It speaks volumes. Trust me, I could feel this person's energy. I know they like their space. I would text them every day. But I would be chasing. So I'm not doing it. I could feel their energy. Stay in your lane and don't move so fast or be in such a rush that you miss your exit. Feel good about your direction. Yeah, stay in your lane. Don't move so fast inside the ego of what you want, what you think you want, just because chaos is familiar, and miss your exit. Don't be in such an egoic rush to get to where you want to be that you miss your exit. Stop biting your truth. Trust truth. Just say it. Stop biting your tongue. Trust truth. Just say it. Just say it. I've contemplated that too, to be completely fair. Just saying it outright. Because even if me and the person I'm talking to on a regular basis right now, you know, the guy who texts me every day, even if we're not genuinely compatible, especially because I don't genuinely see myself staying in the middle of bumfuck nowhere, Illinois. I miss the goddamn coast. I miss the beach, and I'm going to make my way out there. Like, I'm not long-term staying out here. You know, it doesn't really make a whole lot of sense for me to get involved with him, which I had that conversation with him tonight. I told him, like, you know, I don't mind going out and hanging out and having fun and doing whatever. If he makes the drive out here, because we live a bit of ways. But if he makes the drive out here, I pay. If I make the drive out there, he pays. You know, and we enjoy each other's company and conversation. But I do not intend on staying in Illinois at all. So long-term future, no, there is no long-term future. But he's genuinely nice. He's just kind of fucking awesome. And to be fair, maybe the two of us just need that. Maybe the two of us just need that. He needs to know that he's awesome, and I need to know that I am lovable and worth love being on the table. You know, worth that consideration being on the table. And maybe that's just a healthy part of the cycle right now, you know? But as far as people who don't even realize how toxic they are, like, no thanks. I might have that conversation too. So if it's not one and it's not the other, then it's someone else. And that someone else might very well damn be me. I might be my own best lover for the rest of my life, for all I know. You know, I got no problem with that. I would rather sit at my own damn table by myself with love on the table at my table than sit at somebody else's fucking table and love ain't on it. No. Whatever your truth is, just spit it out. Just spit it out. People who are in alignment with you will hear the truth and resonate with the truth, and the truth will help shift things. But if you could speak the truth and it falls on deaf fucking ears, and or the problems persist, like, get the fuck out of Dodge. Yeah, the beach is my happy place. Yeah, the beach is my happy place. I hate being in Illinois. I'm literally as far away from the fucking beach as I could get. It's fucking awful. It's temporary. That's what I keep telling myself. Yeah, I miss the beach so bad. Listening to the waves. I could sit there all day. I hope this reading helped. Its spirit called out so many signs and so many placements. Like, this is a big deal. And we're dealing with this full moon. Like, if you made it this far, if you do want a secret code name read and or an intention candle, like, please make sure you do that. Deadline's tomorrow. You get a personal reading with me for that. If you need more insight into this kind of shit, like, do not hesitate. I will gladly be of service for you. That's why I'm here. It's why I'm here. It's why Spirit has me do what I do. It's my calling in life. Okay. With that, I'm going to let you guys go. I got to take my son to work in a little bit, and then I'm going to deep dive into my tarot deck. I have been practically nonstop. Unless I'm eating or sleeping, I've been working on that deck nonstop. And I've made some huge progress with it, and I fully intend to keep going. So until we next meet, guys, which literally might just be tomorrow, I might record the cosmic currency for the full moon in advance. We'll see. We'll see where I end up with my day, how Spirit ends up guiding me through it. But yeah, I love you guys, and I will see you later. Bye, everyone.